There are moments in life when strength is no longer enough, when wisdom fails, when connections cannot help, when effort seems powerless. In such moments, there is only one cry that reaches beyond the limitations of human ability, the cry of mercy. Mercy is not weakness. Mercy is the divine advantage that lifts people from pits they cannot escape by themselves. It is the voice that speaks for you when you have no voice left. It is the intervention that rewrites stories, restores dignity, and rebuilds destinies. Every great destiny has a point where mercy stepped in. Many victories were not just the result of intelligence or discipline, but the unseen power of mercy responding to a sincere cry. When everything around you says no, mercy has the authority to declare yes. The cry of mercy is not a prayer of perfection. It is a prayer of surrender. It is the heart saying, I cannot do this alone. It is the moment a person admits that they need help beyond their capacity, and in that humility, doors open that effort could not open. Mercy does not consult your past. Mercy does not ask whether you deserve it. Mercy lifts, transforms, and empowers. When mercy comes, battles end, burdens lift, and pathways appear where there were none. So lift your voice today, not in fear, not in shame, but with boldness, and cry for mercy, because mercy can do for you in one moment what years of struggle could never achieve. And when mercy answers your life, becomes a testimony that help can come from above. When human strength fails, mercy is a divine advantage because it operates beyond the rules of human effort, logic, or qualification. It is the invisible force that steps into situations where strength can no longer carry you and where wisdom has reached its limit. There are moments when a person has done everything they know, applied every principle they were taught, pushed themselves to their highest capacity, yet life still confronts them with impossibilities. In those moments, it becomes clear that human ability has boundaries, but mercy does not. Mercy is the intervention that comes from a realm higher than human intelligence. It bends circumstances in your favor, not because you have earned it, but because help from above has chosen to speak for you. Many destinies rise, not because people always make perfect decisions, but because mercy covered their imperfections and turned their little efforts into great results. There are people who have succeeded in life not because they were the most skilled, but because mercy opened doors they could never have knocked on by themselves. Mercy places you in the right place at the right time. It amplifies your gifts, increases your influence, and positions you before opportunities that were never in your calculations. When mercy begins to work for a person, even the mistakes that should have destroyed them become stepping stones. Instead of shame, they see restoration. Instead of failure, they encounter favor. Mercy is not sentimental, it is powerful. It overrides the consequences that should have come based on natural laws. It interrupts cycles that have held families for generations. It lifts people who have been trapped in patterns of delay, rejection, and stagnation. Mercy rewires the outcome of events so that the final result reflects divine intention, not human limitation. Mercy is also a shield. It protects you from battles you never knew were coming. It keeps you from traps you did not see. It silences accusations, cancels negative reports, and shuts the mouth of opposition. There are times when unseen enemies have risen against a destiny, but mercy stood between them and you, turning what could have been a disaster into a testimony. Mercy does not wait for you to be perfect before it intervenes. It does not demand flawless behavior or complete understanding. It responds to sincerity, humility, and the recognition that all human power is limited. When a person acknowledges their need for help beyond themselves, mercy finds room to operate. Mercy lifts those who cry out honestly, even if their past is messy or their journey has been inconsistent. What makes mercy such a divine advantage is that it cannot be manipulated by human systems. You cannot buy it, negotiate it, or force it. It comes by grace. It moves by compassion, and it manifests by divine authority. It elevates without explanation and transforms without permission from your critics. This is why one moment of mercy can accomplish what years of labor could not. It creates sudden change, unexpected breakthroughs, and unimaginable turnarounds. Mercy breaks protocol, shifts outcomes, and releases blessings that go beyond effort. When mercy rests on your life, it becomes the bridge between where you are and where you could never reach by your own strength. The cry of mercy is a powerful prayer because it goes deeper than words, deeper than eloquence, and deeper than religious expression. It is the raw sound of a heart that has reached the end of itself and is seeking help from a realm beyond human ability. When a person cries for mercy, they are not trying to impress anyone. They are not trying to sound spiritual. They are simply revealing their true dependence on a higher power. This authenticity carries a unique weight. It is the kind of prayer that breaks through resistance, dismantles barriers, and draws attention from the unseen world. There is a difference between praying out of routine and praying out of desperation. The cry of mercy comes from the depths of the soul, from a place of sincerity and vulnerability, and such a cry is never ignored. Mercy responds to honesty, and the cry for mercy is one of the most honest prayers a human being can utter. It acknowledges that wisdom has limits, experience cannot solve everything, and strength alone cannot unlock every door. The cry of mercy is a confession. I need help beyond myself. It is the recognition that no matter how skilled, educated, or gifted a person is, life can still present moments that human ability cannot match. This cry becomes powerful because it aligns a person with divine intervention. When you cry for mercy, you are not asking for what you deserve. You are asking for what only grace can supply. This kind of prayer bypasses merit and appeals to compassion. It does not require perfection, only sincerity. The cry of mercy also carries power because it humbles the heart. Humility is one of the strongest spiritual postures, and a heart that bends attracts supernatural attention. When someone cries for mercy, they silence pride, ego, and self-sufficiency. In that vulnerability, divine help finds an open door. History has shown that people rise not because they are the strongest, but because at a critical moment they cried out and received help they could never have produced on their own. There are breakthroughs that were not the result of long speeches or complicated prayers, but the simple, sincere cry, "Have mercy on me." Such a cry shifts atmospheres and provokes divine response. Furthermore, the cry of mercy is powerful because it is a universal language. You do not need the right vocabulary, the perfect tone, or theological training. Mercy understands tears, whispers, silence, and even the cries hidden in the heart that never reach the lips. There are moments when a person cannot articulate their pain, when the weight of life makes words impossible, yet a cry for mercy still rises and it is heard. Mercy interprets the emotions behind the cry, the wounds behind the sigh, and the need behind the brokenness. This makes it one of the most accessible and effective forms of prayer. The cry of mercy becomes powerful because it moves divine compassion into action. It invites intervention where systems fail, brings help where logic ends, and opens doors where strength collapses. It is not the length of the prayer that makes it powerful, but the depth of the heart behind it. A single cry for mercy can change a lifetime. Mercy rewrites destinies because it intervenes at the exact places where human decisions, limitations, or circumstances would have produced a different outcome. Every destiny carries both potential and vulnerability. People rise, fall, make mistakes, learn, and sometimes get trapped in cycles that seem impossible to escape. There are moments when the future appears already shaped by the consequences of the past, choices made in ignorance, opportunities missed, or battles that were too heavy to fight. But mercy steps into these moments not as a passive sentiment, but as a force that alters the narrative. Mercy has the power to break the chain between what should have happened and what can still happen. It disconnects you from the life that your mistakes were writing and reconnects you to the life that was originally intended for you. When mercy rewrites a destiny, it does not erase the past but redeems it. It turns scars into testimonies, failures into wisdom, and pain into strength. Many people would have remained in the shadows if mercy had not lifted them. There are individuals whose lives were headed in a destructive direction, yet mercy intercepted them and created a new chapter. This is why destiny is not determined only by human effort, but by the intervention of mercy. Some doors open not because someone planned well, but because mercy made room for transformation. Mercy restores lost time, lost opportunities, and even lost identity. It reaches into the broken areas of a person's life and rebuilds what seemed shattered beyond repair. Mercy also rewrites destinies by breaking negative patterns that run through families and generations. Some people find themselves fighting the same battles. Their parents or grandparents fought cycles of poverty, rejection, addiction, failure, sickness, or delay. These patterns can feel like invisible chains, shaping destinies long before a person understands what is happening. But mercy has the power to cut through generational limitations and establish a new order. It lifts a person out of what history tried to confine them to, placing them on a path that reflects grace rather than inherited struggle. Mercy does not ask whether it is fair or logical. It simply intervenes. It takes someone who was never expected to rise and gives them a destiny that amazes even them. Another reason mercy rewrites destinies is because it positions people in places they did not qualify for. There are stories of people who were forgotten, overlooked, or considered unimportant, yet mercy placed them in seats of influence. Mercy does not follow human rules of selection. It does not wait for approval from those who doubt your potential. When mercy comes upon a destiny, it accelerates growth, amplifies visibility, and attracts opportunities. What would have taken 10 years can happen in one. What seemed impossible becomes the new reality. Mercy changes how life responds to you. It changes how people see you and how doors open for you. It is the supernatural force that can shift a person from the background to the forefront. Mercy rewrites destinies because it understands that humans are imperfect and yet their stories deserve a second chance. Where judgment would have closed the chapter, mercy writes a new one. It steps into dark seasons and paints light over them. It prevents one moment of weakness from destroying a lifetime of potential. It transforms ordinary people into testimonies of uncommon help and uncommon grace. Mercy does not consult your past because it operates from a realm where grace is stronger than history, compassion is greater than judgment, and divine intention outweighs human failure. Many people live with the weight of their past mistakes. They regret decisions they wish they could undo, seasons of weakness that still echo in their memory. The past can feel like a shadow that follows a person wherever they go, limiting their confidence and shaping their expectations. But mercy stands as a powerful force that refuses to allow yesterday to define tomorrow. Mercy does not examine where you have been to decide whether you are worthy of help. It looks at who you can become. It lifts the burden of shame, breaks the chains of regret, and opens the door for a future that is not dictated by former errors. There are people who feel disqualified from greatness simply because of their past experiences or failures. They assume they cannot rise because of what others know about them or because of the memories they carry within their hearts. But mercy speaks a different language. It sees potential even when the world sees problems. It sees destiny even when people see history. Mercy takes the very people society counted out and places them in positions of honor. It does not ask whether you deserve the breakthrough. It simply provides it. This is why lives change so dramatically when mercy is involved. It bypasses the rules of fairness and focuses on restoration. Mercy does not consult your past, because your past is often an incomplete story. It only reflects where you were, not where you are going. Many people grew up in environments they did not choose, made decisions out of fear or ignorance, or faced battles that shaped their behavior. Judging a destiny by its past is like judging a seed by the soil it fell into. Mercy understands that growth is possible, transformation is real, and change is always within reach. Mercy looks beyond the limitations and sees the hidden greatness waiting to emerge. It allows a person to rise from their darkest season without carrying the label of their former struggles. One of the most beautiful things about mercy is that it silences the voices of accusation, both internal and external. People may try to remind you of who you used to be. Your own mind may try to trap you in guilt or fear, but mercy interrupts that noise. It says that your identity is not tied to your mistakes. Mercy becomes a shield protecting your journey from being defined or destroyed by shame. It allows you to stand tall even if you once stumbled. Mercy gives you permission to rebuild, to dream again, to start again, and to believe again. Mercy does not consult your past, because the purpose placed within you is bigger than the errors behind you. Your past may explain you, but it cannot define you. Mercy takes the broken pieces of your story and shapes them into something powerful, meaningful, and beautiful. It gives you a future that is not a continuation of your wounds, but a testimony of your healing. Calling for mercy invites divine intervention because it creates a direct connection between human limitation and supernatural ability. When a person reaches the point where they admit they cannot continue on their own strength, something powerful happens in the realm of the spirit. The cry for mercy is not just a request, it is an invitation. It opens the door for forces beyond human comprehension to step into situations that seemed impossible. Mercy responds to humility. And when someone sincerely calls for it, the barriers that once stood firm begin to weaken. What effort could not accomplish, what intelligence could not solve, and what connections could not provide becomes possible because mercy brings divine involvement into human affairs. Divine intervention is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it appears quietly, shifting circumstances, aligning opportunities, touching hearts, and arranging outcomes. At other times, it comes suddenly, turning a hopeless situation into a testimony. The call for mercy does not dictate how intervention should happen. It simply acknowledges that intervention is needed. That acknowledgement is powerful. It disarms pride, breaks the illusion of self-sufficiency, and creates space for supernatural help. When mercy intervenes, even the most complicated situation becomes easy to resolve. Paths appear where there were none. Strength emerges where weakness once lived. Clarity floods places where confusion had settled. Mercy becomes the bridge between the impossible and the achievable. Mercy invites divine intervention because it touches the heart of compassion. It speaks to the nature of the one who responds to cries. Unlike human systems that evaluate worthiness, mercy responds to sincerity. It does not wait for you to become perfect before stepping in. It does not require a flawless life or an impressive record. It only requires a genuine cry. And when that cry rises, the heavens respond. Help comes from unexpected places. Resources begin to move. People who never noticed you begin to favor you. Mercy orchestrates the kind of intervention that no strategy could have produced. It ensures that the outcome is clearly beyond human effort, so that the glory belongs to something greater. Sometimes people think intervention requires long prayers, complicated rituals, or perfect behavior, but mercy teaches a different truth. It shows that divine intervention is often triggered not by length of prayer, but by depth of heart. A single cry spoken from deep sincerity can touch realms that hours of mechanical prayers cannot. Mercy responds to authenticity, not performance. It sees the heart even when the words are imperfect. That is why people throughout history have risen from darkness, pain, and impossibility simply because they cried, "Have mercy." Those words carry a spiritual weight that cannot be measured. When mercy is called upon, divine intervention becomes inevitable. Situations begin to change, sometimes slowly, sometimes instantly, but always purposefully. Mountains that once seemed immovable begin to shift. Battles that once felt overwhelming begin to weaken. Doors that were locked begin to open. The cry for mercy activates a supernatural response that reshapes outcomes, redirects journeys, and renews hope. It brings the assurance that even when you cannot change your situation, there is one who can, and mercy is the key that invites that change. Asterisk, asterisk. In the end, the cry of mercy is the lifeline that connects human weakness to divine strength. It is the sound that rises above guilt, past mistakes, silent battles, and hidden fears. Mercy steps into the places where effort stops, where wisdom is exhausted, and where doors seem permanently closed. It rewrites stories that were heading toward destruction and restores destinies that look beyond repair. It lifts without questioning the past, helps without demanding perfection, and intervenes without needing permission from the limitations surrounding you. When you call for mercy, you are not calling for pity. You are calling for supernatural help that transforms, heals, elevates, and renews. So let your heart be bold enough to cry out, because one sincere moment of mercy can do more for your life than years of struggle. And when mercy answers, your destiny will rise in ways you never imagined possible. Asterisk, asterisk,